Jeremy Rice.
And I'm Natasha Douglas. And for this project, we chose Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen to summarize and present to you.
The setting of this book took place sometime during the Napoleonic Wars, 1797 through 1805. It was based on the location of Longbourn in rural England. Some of the themes that Jane Austen incorporated into this book are love, reputation, and class.
Elizabeth Bennet is the first main character. She's the second oldest of 5 sisters. She is a quick-witted, sharp-tongued woman. She's also known by her intelligence and boldness. She has a perceptive eye that is influenced by vanity to judge others.
Mr. Darcy is the next main character, who is an extremely wealthy aristocrat. He is very conscious of class differences at the beginning. However, through his pursuit of Elizabeth, he changed and recognizes character more than social class.
Jane Bennet is Elizabeth's sister. She is also the oldest of the 5 sisters. She is known by her sweet and gentle nature. She's quite the opposite of Elizabeth and refuses to judge anyone badly. Because she starts off very virtuous and likable, her character doesn't change much through the book.
Charles Bingley is a good-tempered person who is easily influenced by the words of his friends. He is much like Jane and isn't really bothered by class differences. He is another character who remains the same throughout the book.
Mr. Wickham is an officer of the regiment stationed at Meryton. At first glance, his character appears to be good, but as the book unravels, this is proven not to be the case.
Miss Bennet is the mom of all the Bennet girls. She is always showing to be a foolish woman, never in touch with reality of situations. She is driven by the obsession to marry her daughters off. Her insane nature drives her oldest daughters crazy, making her socially intolerable.
Lydia is the youngest of their sisters. She's a very flirtatious and fluid girl. Her obsessions is the officer of the regiment. She is much like her mom in her frivolous behavior.
Catherine Bennet, also known as Kitty, doesn't really have a personality of her own and follows a lot of what Lydia does.
Mary Bennet is the 3rd oldest and is very solemn and dislikes going to society. Much of her time is spent studying or playing the piano.
The last main character is Mr. Bennet. He is the head of the Bennet household. He deals with his ridiculous wife and difficult daughters by withdrawing from them. He has a detached attitude accompanied at times by sarcasm.
To summarize the book of Pride and Prejudice, it is a story about friendship and love. It is 5 sisters living under the same roof with both their parents. News has traveled fast throughout the town that Mr. Bingley has ridden out Netherfield, an estate close by. At the attendance of a ball, Jane is introduced to Mr. Bingley and they hit it off. It is here that Elizabeth Bennet also meets Mr. Darcy, who is Mr. Bingley's friend, but she is not impressed by his arrogant demeanor. Not long after this event, Mr. Colum arrives in the picture, who is a cousin of the family and is to inherit the estate when Mr. Bennet dies. He falls for Elizabeth and proposes to her, but she denies his hand. However, Elizabeth does not stay frustrated long. But soon meet Mr. Wickham, and a romance starts. This doesn't last long, as Mr. Wickham's character is soon revealed. It takes several more encounters before it ends that Jane gives up her shy ways, opening up to Mr. Bingley with a yes to a marriage. Elizabeth realizes that Mr. Darcy is not as hard as he comes off, and after a rejection to his first proposal, she accepts when he asks again the second time. In the meantime, Lydia has run off with Mr. Wickham on a fixed marriage based on money. And we cannot forget about the poor Mr. Collins, who finds romance after all with Charlotte Lucas, Elizabeth's friend. In the end, it appears that after some trial and error, everyone ends up happy, and Mrs. Bennet's nerves are finally put to rest, with 3 out of 5 of her daughters married off.
This pretty much sums up the characters, theme, and story of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Thank you and hope you enjoyed.